Facebook, 99.7 WTN on Facebook. Hit the like button while you're there, and you can watch all this picture-in-picture with us as we go through the inauguration live. In the meantime, I got to tell you about my friends at the Glock store. My place to train. When I go to train, and I should go more often, I go to the Glock store and the shoot270.com indoor ranges. They have private shooting rooms and personal instructors. This is completely different than what you're used to. It's not multiple lanes and a stranger shooting next to you. It is a private room with a personal instructor. You'll shoot less and learn more. I guarantee it. And all month long, if you book a session at shoot270.com, you'll get to shoot a full auto H&K suppressed MP5 for free just by mentioning my name, Chris Hand. It's a $50 value. You get to do it for free by saying you heard it here on my show. I've fired this H&K suppressed MP5. It is so much fun. I know I say you go to the Glock store to train and learn, and that's true, but you go there for fun too. And this is underlining the fun. An H&K suppressed MP5. You can shoot it for free. Book your session today at shoot270.com. And when you get to the Glock store, tell them Chris Hand sent you. Only in Nashville, only at my place to train, the Glock store. Minutes from the airport, worth the drive from anywhere. Shoot270.com.
Well, Donald Trump is set to take executive action immediately after he takes office here in about, 30, 40 minutes or so. So, yes, it's about to happen. Also, a strange and disturbing occurrence at a Nashville Jewish community center. We'll have those stories at 10:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Thank you, Jay Harper. 10:25 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. The show is brought to you by Better Water LLC. BetterWater.com if you need a water filter for your home or business. We're watching everybody roll into the Capitol. Barron Trump, very, very tall.
Dude's a giant.
Absolute giant.
6'7".
Unreal. Also, we fixed the YouTube stream, so that should be back up if you want to watch along with us as we join in the inauguration. J.D. Vance is going to be up first, and then Donald J. Trump. Brian Wilson is live at the Capitol, and Brian's got an update on the Stewart Creek High School band. What's up, Brian?
Well, yeah, the big news was that they were not going to be able to play before Donald Trump. In other words, they've been told, I'm sorry, thank you for coming all this way. I know you raised $120,000, but we're not going to have a place for you in the Capital One Arena show that will take place this afternoon. Well, a short time ago, I received confirmation that apparently, I think the entire Tennessee delegation got involved, but I'm told specifically that Marsha Blackburn got involved and got somehow the word to Trump's people, and they will indeed perform. That is just now being announced.
Very cool.
That they will be performing at Capital One Arena directly in front of the newly sworn-in president of the United States.
Oh, I love it, man. And then he's going to be signing all those executive orders in front of a live crowd as well, which is going to be fantastic.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting show for sure.
Okay, so you're watching live. Explain to me the course of events and where we're going next.
Well, there'll be a swearing in of J.D. Vance first, which is always sort of, I thought, odd. Well, why wouldn't you do that after? But they always do it beforehand. And he'll be sworn in by Brett Kavanaugh, Associate Justice of the Supreme Court. The Chief Justice, by tradition, swears in the president-elect, and that will be, of course, John Roberts, and that'll take place straight up noon here on the East Coast, 11 o'clock in the Central Time Zone.
It's going to be absolutely phenomenal. Is it just me, or is Bill Clinton looking a little bit off today? I mean, he was standing there. It looked like he could barely close his mouth.
Yeah, he has not been looking particularly well the last few times. He has a little bit of a shake in his hand, it seems. I don't know what that's all about. Not much has been said about it. But he doesn't look well. Hillary Clinton is here with him. Michelle Obama, however, is not with Barack Obama. She decided she's going to wait this one out. I will point out to you that we are not swearing in Michelle Obama today. I just have to get that in somewhere today.
But you're saying that she's going to be the favorite for 2028. Are you willing to go on record for that now?
Somebody will say that. I will not be among them. But no, it's getting very, very close and solemn now. And you'll hear music, you'll hear singing. You're going to hear a lot of things that are interspersed in between these readings. But in just about another 2 minutes, J.D. Vance should be sworn in.
Yeah, we're looking forward to that. All right, so let's break early for the news with Jay Harper, if he's ready for that. So that way we can kind of get back to J.D. Vance once that kicks off. It is 10:28 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Good morning. It is 10:29, and I'm Jay Harper with your top stories. We'll get you that weather forecast here shortly. Well, the president-elect Donald Trump's return to the White House merely minutes away. His speech was supposed to be, his inaugural address, supposed to be delivered outside, but as we all know now, they have moved things indoors. It is said that Mr. Trump plans to take executive action immediately after he takes office. Here's Karen Travers.
After taking office, President Trump will declare a national energy emergency. The primary order Trump's expected to sign today will focus on unleashing American energy, which officials said would emphasize cutting red tape and regulations. With the national energy emergency, Trump is expected to unlock different authorities to enable more production of natural resources. Drilling reached record highs during the Biden administration, but President Biden also took take executive actions to ban all future offshore oil and natural gas drilling on America's east and west coasts, the eastern Gulf of Mexico, and Alaska's North Bering Sea.
Back here in Nashville, a man who was dressed as an Orthodox Jew with a fake beard, well, he was demanding to see a rabbi. He's now charged with assault and trespassing after trying to push through the folks at the front desk of the Gordon Jewish Community Center here in town on Monday. The director of the center, Jeremy Brook, tells Channel 4 that these are not serious people, but they still have to take things like this seriously.
I want people to know that the JCC is a safe, warm, and friendly place. Incidents like this are unfortunate, but happen extremely rarely.
The suspect, Travis Garland, has a record of leaving the scene of a crash involving death back in 2016 after an elderly gentleman was struck while crossing the road in a wheelchair. Garland was serving 5 years of probation for that, which ended in 2020. That is the latest news. We've got weather on the way. I'm Jay Harper, WTN News.
Hey, what's up, guys? It's Matt Murphy in the middle of downtown Franklin, Tennessee. We've talked so much about Savory Spice. I thought, why not show you the place? So let's go on in and see what's popping at Savory Spice. As I've always said, you will smell the spices even before you walk in. I can smell them right here in the doorway. Come on in and let's introduce you to the one and only Holly, who is the owner and proprietor of Savory Spice. Say hey, Holly.
Hello, everyone.
Now, enough about Holly. Let's talk about spicy and easy products like the incredible taco soup, which, as I said, you put this in a crock pot, you put all the ingredients that it tells you to buy right there, you put the spices in, and it's so easy. So if you don't know what you're doing around the kitchen, it's a perfect way to find your way around the kitchen, as is the Mediterranean dill risotto. Now, for the holidays, pumpkin pie spice. What doesn't it have, Holly?
Pumpkin.
It doesn't have any pumpkin in it. That's a fun fact for all of you kids out there. Now, if you stop by Savory Spice, either in the Franklin location or at L&L Market, you can get yourself a sample of the dill dip, which is my absolute favorite. Just tell them Matt Murphy sent you to Savory Spice with purchase now. So come by Franklin or L&L Market in Nashville and come see Holly and the entire crew at Savory Spice.
It's 10:35 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. We are moments away from the swearing in of J.D. Vance taking the vice presidential oath of office. And we're watching it live with you on Super Talk TV, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, all the things. Join us. We got it picture in picture, and we're going to be watching this thing go down live. I tell you what, though, the comeback story of Donald Trump, the no-quit attitude, that is a story that I have been telling my kids over and over and over again. Don't give up. People will count you out. Keep going. This is a story of American resilience, and we're watching it live. The greatest political comeback in history. It's unreal. Brian Wilson is down there at the Capitol live, watching all of this happen with us, and we're thankful to our friends at Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling for sponsoring that trip for Brian to get out there. And we're now seeing Donald J. Trump take his walk into the rotunda. Brian, what are you seeing?
Well, I'm seeing the same thing. I think my visual feed is a little bit ahead of yours. Right now, Melania Trump is standing next to Barron, who, in answer to your earlier question, is 6'9", we are told.
Unreal. He's a monster.
Yeah, he's a tall kid. Melania standing next to Barron. The president-elect is making his way into the rotunda, and we saw J.D. Vance go in just a few moments ago. It's just interesting to watch the pictures. There's Elon Musk. There's Vivek Ramaswamy. There are members of the potential cabinet, none of which, to my knowledge, have yet been confirmed, but some of them may be confirmed this afternoon. I understand Marco Rubio is probably the one who will be confirmed first, as that whole process takes a little while to get going. But yeah, I mean, it's starting to happen now, and it seems like we're a little bit behind schedule, which means that they make adjustments in this program. So some things that were in the program may not actually occur, so that they can have the swearing in take place at straight up noon o'clock.
Okay, so we're going to see some adjustments happen. I'm seeing Melania next to Barron now as well. And
right.
This is going to be wild. I do see some reports. CBS is saying, well, there's not a lot of black people in the crowd, so CBS is already trying to make this about race. Of
course they are.
I see one Daily Beast reporter saying Charlie Kirk has better seats than every member of Congress. Tells you how little the Trump team thinks of Congress. But I got to say,
on my feed now, I'm now seeing Joe Biden and Kamala Harris have entered the rotunda.
Okay, so we're going to keep you updated here. But I mean, as far as Charlie Kirk getting better seats, the ground game that happened in this presidential campaign was vastly different because of the action of Charlie Kirk and Turning Point action. Have you seen in your years?
I think you're absolutely right about that.
A ground game that was this dominant for the Republicans?
You know what? Really, there were a lot of things that they got right, but this time you have to say that the Republicans figured out how to do a ground game and how to really start working that from the very beginning. They wanted to have a good, strong ground game. I give high marks to Laura Trump and the others over at the RNC for putting that together and doing this thing the way everybody felt like it should have always been done. But for some reason, Republicans never really had a very strong ground game. But that has changed, it would seem.
Yes, and we saw Joe Biden and Kamala Harris have walked in, and they got a standing ovation. Everybody's ready for this guy to be gone, are they not?
Yeah, I think they are. And now we are now seeing the entrance of the vice president, J.D. Vance, into the rotunda, and he will of course be sworn in first by Brett Kavanaugh, Associate Justice of the Supreme Court. And that should be, by my timeline, we are a little bit behind schedule.
How long does the official swearing in take for the vice presidential candidate?
Not very long. I mean, it's an oath of office, like you've heard other oaths of office that have been delivered in the past. It's a relatively short thing, but it has to be done. And what's interesting is if if you get the vice president sworn in, then noon comes. Technically, he's in charge until the president is sworn in. Isn't that weird?
Yes.
But that's the way it often has happened, that for a short period of time, the person truly in charge is the vice president, even though because they are a moment or two late getting the president sworn in at noon. He's the only guy that's been sworn in, so he's technically in charge.
Yeah, and he has taken his place now. It looks like they're going to be kicking this thing off relatively quickly. This is what it sounds like down there in the rotunda.
The president's own, providing the orchestration.
J.D. Vance just all smiles. You can see his wife looking at him. She is just absolutely thrilled, and hard not to imagine why. Donald Trump Jr. standing behind J.D. Vance to his left, all smiles as well. And it looks like this thing is about to get going here.
You'll see the entry of the leadership from Capitol Hill now taking their place here in the next few moments. And then this thing will really seriously get underway.
Yeah, J.D. Vance. I'm very excited about J.D. Vance for the first time in.
Gentlemen, escorting the president-elect,
Oh.
the staff director for the Joint Congressional Committee on Inaugural Ceremonies, Elizabeth Farah, House Sergeant-at-Arms, the Honorable William P. McFarland, Senate Sergeant-at-Arms and Doorkeeper, the Honorable Jennifer A. Hemingway, Senate Majority Leader, the Honorable John Thune, and the Joint Congressional Committee on Inaugural Ceremonies, House Democratic Leader, the Honorable Hakeem Jeffries, House Majority Leader, the Honorable Steve Scalise, Speaker of the House of Representatives, the Honorable Mike Johnson, Senate Democratic Leader, the Honorable Charles E. Schumer, Ranking Member of the Joint Congressional Committee on Inaugural Ceremonies, the Honorable Deb Fischer, and Chairwoman of the Joint Congressional Committee on Inaugural Ceremonies, the Honorable Amy Klobuchar. Ladies and gentlemen, the President-elect of the United States, the Honorable Donald John Trump.
I mean, it's pretty cool to watch all this happen. Donald J. Trump walking in. He went to give Melania a kiss on the cheek, and the hat kind of got in the way. But it is a moment to be seen. The greatest political comeback.
Kind of an air kiss, wasn't it?
Yeah. But this is the greatest political comeback in history.
It truly is. It's a remarkable story. And what a roller coaster ride this whole election was. Now coming full circle, Donald Trump just moments away from being the 47th president of the United States.
Yeah, it is unbelievable, man. It's something I tell my kids. Don't give up. Don't quit. Look at this guy. On January 7th, 2021, he was counted out completely. And here we are today.
Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated.
And they're going to get to the swearing in of J.D. Vance. Donald Trump seated right to the left of J.D. Vance. They're exchanging words as they're getting everything set up and squared away.
Please welcome the chairwoman of the Joint Congressional Committee on Inaugural Ceremonies, the Honorable Amy Klobuchar.
Good morning, everyone.
She wishes it was Kamala so bad.
Welcome to the 60th presidential inauguration. Today, President-elect Trump and Vice President-elect Vance will take their oaths of office, and we will witness the peaceful transfer of power at the heart of our democracy.
It's been a petty transition of power so far, but I get what she's trying to go for.
For the past year, I've chaired the Inaugural Ceremony Committee, which includes the leadership of Congress from both parties. We thank the committee and Capitol staff and law enforcement who worked so hard over the last year, and especially the last 3 days. You've done a beautiful job, and you have shown grace under pressure. Our theme this year is our enduring democracy. The presence of so many presidents and vice presidents here today is truly a testament to that endurance. We welcome President Biden and Dr. Biden. We welcome Vice President Harris and Doug Emhoff, President Obama, President Clinton and Secretary Clinton, President Bush and Laura Bush, Vice President Pence, Vice President Quayle and Marilyn Quayle. The justices of the United States Supreme Court are with us, all 9 of them I counted, and of course the Trump and Vance families. This ceremony marks what will soon be 250 years of our democracy. It is the moment when leaders elevated by the will of the people promise to be faithful to our Constitution, to cherish and defend it. It is the moment when they become, as we all should be, the guardians of our country. Through war and peace, through adversity and prosperity, we hold this inauguration every 4 years, and today it falls on Martin Luther King Day. A further reminder that we must strive to uphold the values enshrined in our Constitution, the freedoms, the liberties, and, as is inscribed on the entrance of the United States Supreme Court, equal justice under law. But what makes this moment more than a passing ceremony is all who are watching it across the country, the people of this nation, the ordinary people doing extraordinary things. President Kennedy, who at one point worked as a senator in this building and would often walk through this very rotunda, once said, "In a democracy, every citizen, regardless of interest in politics, holds office. Every one of us is in a position of responsibility." With that responsibility of citizenship comes an obligation not to seek out malice, as President Lincoln once reminded us, but to view others with a generosity of spirit despite our differences. With that responsibility of leadership comes an obligation to stand our ground when we must and find common ground when we can. With everything swirling around us, the hot mess of division, it is on all of us, to quote an incredible songwriter who just happened to be born in my state, to ensure that our nation's democracy is our shelter from the storm. There's a reason this ceremony takes place at the Capitol. In other countries, it might be in a presidential palace or a gilded executive office building. Here it is traditionally held at the Capitol, the People's House. It is a fitting reminder of the system of checks and balances that is the very foundation of our government, 3 equal branches of government. That is how, for nearly 250 years, our great American experiment, grounded in the rule of law, has endured. So, as we inaugurate a new president and vice president, let us remember that the power of those in this room comes from the people. The construction workers who build our country, the teachers and healthcare workers who nurture us, the troops defending our freedoms, and yes, the firefighters in Los Angeles putting themselves on the line for us. Our democracy's strength and grit must match theirs. May God bless our nation. Thank you.
Well, I think if you had taken a shot for every time she said democracy, you'd either have alcohol poisoning or you'd just be Kamala Harris on a Monday. I don't.
Yeah. Yeah, she's making her little, getting her little shot in that one moment that she has. Amy Klobuchar, generally seen on Capitol Hill as one of the most unlikable members of Congress, and I mean, seriously, her staff has apparently put out the word that she's very difficult to work with, and this is her one little moment to shine.
Yeah, well, she didn't do her best. This is Senator Deb Fisher out of Nebraska.
The endurance,
our democracy,
the permanence
the American
of a nation through change. It allows nations like our United States both to avoid the obstacles and to seize the opportunities God has placed before us, all while staying true to our founding principles. Today is our country's 60th inauguration ceremony. Like all the others before it, it is a celebration of our right to set our uniquely American course. The past several years have been trying at times for many, many Americans, and also for the nation. States, both to avoid the obstacles.
And Joe Biden looks more and more like the Jeff Dunham puppet every day.
It really does. I'm surprised he's able to stay. Well, he's yawning now, so maybe he's not going to make it.
What's the over-under that Biden falls asleep before J.D. Vance gets sworn in?
Like all the others before it, it is a celebration.
Oh, he's got his eyes closed.
Our right to set our uniquely
Joe's napping.
American
There's going to be a nice long yawn here in a moment.
The past several years have been trying at times for many, many Americans, and also for the nations of the free world that we humbly strive to lead. In November, Americans chose again to steer this nation towards greatness. The secure, safe, and prosperous future that our founders envisioned for all of us.
There's that yawn.
And today, we celebrate not only their decision to do so, but also the simple right and wisdom of a free people to make their own choice so that their nation might endure. And now, allow me to welcome Archbishop Timothy Dolan and Reverend Franklin Graham, who will deliver our invocation. Please rise.
This is actually one of the things that I am most excited for with this Trump administration is the fact that we've moved God back into the forefront of this nation. And,
Absolutely.
It seems like we have a president that is going to honor that.
And know that I am God, supreme among the nations, supreme on the earth. Let us pray. Remembering General George Washington on his knees at Valley Forge, recalling Abraham Lincoln at his second inaugural, with malice toward none, with charity for all, with firmness in the right as God gives us to see the right. Remembering General George Patton's instructions to his soldiers as they began the Battle of the Bulge 8 decades ago, pray. Pray when fighting, pray alone, pray with others, pray by night, pray by day. Observing the birthday of the Reverend Martin Luther King, who warned, without God, our efforts turn to ashes. We, blessed citizens of this one nation under God, humbled by our claim that in God we trust, gather indeed this Inauguration Day to pray for our President Donald J. Trump, his family, his advisors, his cabinet, his aspirations, his vice president, for the Lord's blessings upon Joseph Biden, for our men and women in uniform, for each other whose hopes are stoked this new year, this Inauguration Day.